Hello and welcome. This is Jasur from Shanghai Silk Road. If you're new in this channel, quickly, our company is a corporate consultancy company. We provide company formation, liquidation, structuring, restructuring, contract drafting in English and Chinese, legal representation, and many other tailor-made corporate legal services based on your needs and requirements. You can see our contact details and welcome to contact us with your questions and inquiries. Now, today in this video, I'd like to talk about great news regarding company formation in China. Now, before we start the topic, let me give you a little bit background information. Standard requirements for company formation in China for foreigners were to come up with the name, obviously, and then the company by default, Co Ltd. And then one of the interesting requirements were company owners should appoint two separate people, company director and company supervisor. That was very interesting, maybe difference from other countries when you're forming a company. So now, according to new policy, specifically that's coming from Shanghai, foreigners can start a company without a supervisor. All right, that's great news actually. Without a supervisor, if you're a single person, single owner, you can take the position of the director and you don't need a supervisor anymore. However, obviously, there is a catch. There is one downside I'm going to explain, which is if you don't have a supervisor in the company is going to be unlimited company, not limited liability. So unlike limited liability, unlimited companies, they take full responsibility, obviously, full responsibility for their services, for their products, for the company's activities, etc. Now, for people without experience, let me quickly explain the differences. What is limited company and what is unlimited company? Now, take an example of a sole proprietor. Okay, in the case of US, sole proprietor is a single person who is doing business under their own name. And this is also called doing business, okay, doing business as, for example. Now you're providing plumbing services, or you're providing some electrician services, or I don't know, different services under your own name. You don't have a limited liability or LLC. Okay, in this context. So you provide this service, you take, like, for example, orders through your website and then go and perform the service, and then you bill your clients, right? So in this scenario, if your product or service potentially harms the clients, okay, they, for example, you fix the plumbing job there, plumbing issue, and then after some time, the house or apartment gets flooded, right? And then your sole proprietorship might be sued, okay, might be sued by your clients. And then in this scenario, your responsibility is unlimited because you're doing business under your name, okay? So that's similar to what the Chinese government is introducing right now. So if you have this type of business in China without a supervisor, it's still called a company, but it's unlimited liability company. In this scenario, you provide some sort of services, and these services, if potentially they harm the clients or I don't know, anyone that consumes, anyone that takes the product, then if they sue you, your responsibility towards your clients, your responsibility towards the investors, for example, if you have investors in the company, will be unlimited. Okay, so that is the difference. In the case of limited liability, however, the standard company that foreigners use to start in China, even our company, we have several companies in China, all of them are limited liability companies, LTD. Okay, well, in common language, most people call it WFOE, okay, wholly foreign owned enterprise. Wholly foreign owned enterprises are limited liability companies. If you look at the English name of the company, it literally ends with Co Ltd. Co Ltd means company limited. Okay, so in that context, let's go back to the earlier example. So let's take this plumber, okay, company. So you provide plumbing services, but using your limited liability company. In the case of US, it's LLC, but in the case of China, it is LTD. So you use such company to provide plumbing services, and then even if this apartment gets flooded, your responsibility is still limited because you are covered under this umbrella, okay, of the limited liability company. Your liability, technically, it is equal to the amount of share you have, or amount of capital that you inject in the limited liability company. So I hope it makes sense. Like if you compare two cases, one is plumbing company without any limitation, that is unlimited business, unlimited liability. Another one is same type of business, plumbing business, but under the umbrella of LLC, or in case of China, LTD, limited company. So in these both scenarios, liabilities matter, okay? According to the services or the products you're selling, potentially you might get sued. And in case of unlimited, all of your assets are affected, basically, if you have unlimited structure. Your assets like personal accounts, personal assets, car, apartment, etc., under your name might get affected, because if the court rules that you are in the wrong, they might freeze your account. They might have access to your personal assets, personal account, okay, in the case of unlimited liability, because it's unlimited. Literally, it says unlimited liability. But in the case of limited liability, co-LTD, your personal assets are not affected. They can sue you, but your liability is in the size or in the amount of the share or the injection, the capital you have in the company account. So in China, there is actually, another great news that we announced a few months ago. In China now, the registered capital can be as low as 10,000 yuan. So even if you form a limited liability company, you don't have to really now worry about the registered capital, because it used to be 150K, $100,000, but the injection time frame was 50 years. Although it was like really lengthy, really, big time frame, but still 100K is substantial amount. All right. So that's why it was kind of a worrying element for many foreigners as well, especially those who didn't have any access to any capital whatsoever. But now that has been changed as well. Now, according to new policy, registered capital can be as low as 10,000 yuan. And from literally like 2 days ago, new policy, you can start an unlimited company as a foreigner and start offering your services as a freelancer in different fields, web design, graphic design, photography, etc. But you take unlimited responsibility, okay, in this case. So here we have different options for foreigners, guys. All these people who have been contacting us regarding starting their freelancing activities here, freelancing companies, this is your opportunity. Now, if you want to enter the Chinese market, start offering your services to the Chinese audience, to the Chinese clients, now you can literally do that. You don't have to really drag somebody along with you when you come to open a bank account for your company as a supervisor, for example. Previously, that was the case. Actually, one of the barrier was that the person who contacted us, naturally he or she, it takes the director's position, but then some of them, they didn't have anybody in China, so that was kind of barrier for them, because they could not appoint anybody as a company supervisor. We had many clients like that who had to find some random person from the internet and start this kind of agreement so that they can appoint them as a company supervisor. But now you don't have that limitation anymore. If you're a single business owner somewhere and want to enter the Chinese market, you can come here, start this unlimited liability company, being the company director. And if you are just offering these casual services, for example, graphic design, web design, or photography, which might might not potentially harm your clients, for example, and then potentially, start a lawsuit or something, you don't have to really worry about unlimited liability. Because to be honest, unlimited liability is worrying for such businesses where the services or the products might potentially harm the clients. Let's say you are selling edible products. Let's say you are selling cakes or, I don't know, cupcakes or some drink, for example, you're producing or selling in China. In this case, I strongly recommend you start limited liability company, an LTD, WFOE Co. Ltd. company, because like I explained above, so basically if somebody gets hurt, somebody gets harmed by consuming your product, they might potentially sue your company. So if that happens, then if you have limited liability company, you're covered, you're protected by this concept of limited liability. Your liability is limited to the amount of capital, to the amount of share you have in the company. If you just write down your registered capital as low as 10,000 yuan, in the case of limited liability company, that is your liability. If your company gets sued, you're only liable 10,000 yuan. That is how it works, limited liability company. However, if you have, in this scenario, unlimited liability company selling these drinks or selling this consumable product, somebody gets hurt, they sue you. If the court rules in favor of the client, then you have unlimited liability. Your personal assets are basically accessible by the court, and you cannot do anything. They will freeze your assets, they will take away your assets, etc., etc. So here we go, guys. Clear definition, clear differences here. I hope that makes sense now, especially for people without any business experience. If anything is unclear, our contacts are on the screen. Welcome to contact us or leave your comments in the comment section below so we can address them one by one. Once again, this is Jasur from JR & Firm, corporate consultancy company based in Shanghai. We specialize in assisting our global clients with company formation, liquidation, structuring and restructuring, also contract drafting in English and Chinese. We have Shanghai licensed lawyers for people who need legal representation. We actually take a lot of clients for that aspect as well, because in China a lot of factories, and then there are good ones and bad ones. Unfortunately, bad ones might take advantage of clients with quality of the products, or sometimes they don't even send the goods. So in these cases, you might need legal representation. So you can contact us. We'll gladly help you. If any questions, once again, welcome to contact, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.